Welcome everyone to Epic Grind, where we talk all things MMO. My name's Nacho, and today we are going to talk about your gear in the new MMO game, Blessed Unleashed. As everybody can see, gear score is more important than actual character level. As you run around the environment and get into constant battles, you will be hit multiple times. That is a fact of this game. Having the right gear score will determine whether you have an easy battle or a very difficult battle being resurrected all the time. So, what I'm going to show you in this video is an easy way to gear your character up early but also efficiently throughout your leveling so you can save time, headaches, and precious star seeds in the future. So let's get started. All right, so here you have my level 10 wizard. So I created this character not too long ago just for the mere purpose of showing everybody how to properly gear up your character early and efficient. So what I had started with this character, I just started playing the game. I didn't do any crafting. I haven't done any purchasing through any vendors or the marketplace to spend my precious star seeds. All I've done is spawn at the northern section of Karzakor here and started the main quest, just like everybody else. As soon as you do that and you kind of get yourself inside the city, go ahead and follow the main quest from Don Diego counterclockwise all the way until you finish what I call like the first chapter when it takes you back to the city. You'll know because the next step would be that Don Diego sends you out to find the memory fragments here. So once you're there, you should be at about level 10, maybe less, maybe more, but it's a good point for you to start focusing on your gear. I say that because all the gear that drops with battles or a chest or rewards that you're getting so far is sufficient enough for you to play the game without having to upgrade anything. In the very beginning of the game, you collecting star seeds is very difficult, and so as you progress, it gets easier, but you want to conserve as much as you can for that. So don't buy anything so far, just whatever gear you get in the drops, go ahead and put it on. So this character, every piece of gear that I have here, even this rare gear was dropped at a chest, I think, and I just put it on. So everything else you see is pretty low rank gear. Even this one is tier D. So let me talk a little bit about that. The way the gear is set up is in tiers. So that's one of the categories of gears in Blessed Unleashed. The lowest type tier is E, which will give you like the lowest stats, and then the highest gear tier is A, will give you the highest stats. A gear hardly drops, and that's like one of the biggest complaints that end game players right now for this game are saying, hey, A gear doesn't drop as much. You can craft it, but it does take a long time to get your crafting skills up. I'll post another video later and show you guys how to get from first level crafting to 10 level crafting. The other part of the gear system is the grade. So you have gear starting from common grade, just like this one, to uncommon, which is the next tier, to rare, which is this blue gear here, and then epic, legendary, and mythical gear. Keep in mind also with the gears that not all gears created equal. For example, if you have two of the same type of gear, devastating belt +2, I have two of them. Be careful when you have the identical gear drop on you. Don't go ahead and just salvage it or sell it. Take a look at it first, because if you notice here on the stats, it says equipment effect increases critical rate by 2%. This one increases it by 1.74. So if, let's say I would have had this Dawn first and I received this one, without looking at the stats, I would have just gotten rid of it, not knowing that it could increase my critical hit rate. So not all gear is created equal. So pay attention to the stats when you get identical gear. That way you're able to maximize your stats efficiently. The other thing I would say too is that most gear above uncommon, rare, you will have an appearance to them. So this one's a common gear where at the bottom it says can obtain appearance. That's okay. If you when you put it on, nothing's gonna happen, and you can't change the appearance of this gear. But other gear you can. So let's see if I have one of these. So obviously none of these can, but the point is that when you obtain a new piece of gear through a drop or a chest or whatnot, it doesn't matter if you're not going to use it. Before you sell it or get rid of it, go ahead and put it on, because what that does is that it unlocks that appearance card for your character. So even if you get rid of the gear piece, you can always use the appearance of that gear later through an outfitter, a merchant. So pay attention to that. And obviously, if the gear is not bound to you, you can always have the option to sell it in the market, which I recommend. But that's for another video on how to play the market pretty good. So the other things I kind of want to let you guys know about the gear itself is just that the reason why this strategy that I'm going to show you works is because the gear right now, it's not restricted. If you're a veteran of MMO games, you would know that when it comes to the gear is always restricted, meaning by level or class or sub level or subclass. This is not. The only restrictions you have on gear is the class itself. So only, uh, let's say, armor type gear can be worn by Crusaders and Berserkers. Leather gear can only be worn by Rangers, and then cloth gear can only be worn by priests or mages or wizards. So that's the only restriction you have. Aside from that, you could be a level 1 and don a tier A legendary piece of gear on you. So it's not restricted by level yet. It will in the future. I guarantee you the devs would change that. So you are able to buy or put on gear that exceeds the current gear score of the environment. So around level 10 where I am today, you see that I have a gear score of 198 down bottom, which is equivalent to the environment of the quest I'm playing right now. So when you actually start getting in higher levels and higher questing, the monsters around you and the people you have to battle against will have a higher gear score. So you're able to offset that and level using this strategy. So the first thing you're going to need to actually get into the proper gear is starseeds. So I have 67,000 starseeds right now, and the only reason I have that many is because I just grinded for a few hours one day and sold a lot of gathering equipment. So crafting material, mostly the breath mushrooms. They go about 100 starseeds per mushroom right now, and you can just sell them on the market. I've sold most of my other stuff that I've collected throughout the first 10 levels, and I also exchange some of my gold. So you should all be able to exchange your gold for starseeds very early in the game. So you just talk to Olvera here, and you can exchange once per day. At lower levels, you can only exchange once, but once you start getting to higher levels, you can exchange up to 5 times per day. So I've done this every day, exchanged my star seeds there, and I've also sold mushrooms in the marketplace. Real quickly, I'll post another video later on how to gather the right material quickly. But if you want to farm breath mushrooms early, right where you start here, you just go up to the Avera Plains up here, and you can have a field day collecting a whole bunch of mushrooms all day long for 100 star seeds per mushroom on the market. That will get you up to 68,000 like I am very quickly. So that's the one thing you want to do. Last disclaimer I'm going to say is that this strategy doesn't work for everybody. So it all depends on what type of player you are and how you actually play the game. So I myself am a survivalist in MMO games. I like the grind. That's hence my channel, Epic Grind. So in order to do that, it's not just about running around smashing buttons to kill monsters, which if that's your game style, more power to you. You know, I like those kind of people on my party sometimes when I'm trying to take out a large boss in a dungeon that can take out very quickly. But I'm a survivalist, so what I like to do is I kind of spread my strategy and my abilities across the board. So what this is going to show you is exactly how to do that. So what you want to do is just go to the marketplace. As soon as you got your star seeds, just go to the marketplace. And this guy's going to tell you that he's got the best prices, but whatever, it's all set by the players right now. So don't worry about any good prices. So the way you want to actually get your gear, there's a certain order to it. Remember, gear score is the most important thing right now. So you want to maximize your gear score with the amount of money you actually have right now. So the order in which you want to actually buy your gear is weapons, your actual main robe or tunic or armor in your body that you're actually wearing, followed by your leg armor. Then you want to go into your head, your helm, and then you want to do your belt, and then the gloves and shoulders, and then lastly you want to do your secondary weapon, offhand weapon. And I'll show you why here in a second. This will work for any type of character, and it doesn't matter what gear you actually use. So because I am a mage here, I'm going to go into the wands. The gear you want to get at this point is your rare B tier gear. This gear would actually take you all the way to almost end game from the start. Obviously you have one here that's almost 34,000 down to 3,900. Well, so what's the difference? Just the stats. This one actually increases your HP by a range of 433 to 821. This one increases your attack power by 140 to 313, and then this one does your reduces your potion cooldown. To me, that's not very important. Attack power or HP, I prefer attack power. So what I'm going to do is actually click on this and see which one's the best. I say that because, as you could tell, that attack power is a range of 140 to 313. So you want to have the high end of 313. So you go ahead and click on it. What I like to do is sort this by ascending price to tell me the cheapest. But I'm not going to buy the cheapest. I'm going to buy the one that has the best stats compared to how much I'm going to spend on it. So this one's about 12,000 star seeds. It only gives me 159 attack power. This one gives me 178. That's not bad. Getting better. This one has 159. I'd rather buy the one at 12,000. 217. That's not bad for 3,000 star seeds more. So that's a contender there. Another good contender. Now I'm getting down in stats, 17. So it seems like 217 is kind of like the highest that I'm going to get. So what I want to do is just go ahead and buy the Assault Trooper's Wand at 15,000 star seeds. It gives me a boost of 1,045 attack power and plus 217 on top of that. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. Do I want to buy it, purchase it? I do. It's been sent to my mailbox. Okay, so that's my weapon. The next thing I want to do is go ahead, like I said, is want to go to my main body armor. So here's the robe. Again, I'm going to look into the B rare quality type. This one increases my defense, and this one increases my max HP. Defense is always going to be better than HP. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the robe of the prophet. Again, it's already been sorted by descending price, and I'm going to look at the one that gives me the highest status. So 690 to 1149. So this one gives me 690. This one gives me 996. That's not bad. Lower but higher price. So no, 894. So it looks like the one second to the top is the best choice. So this one will give me 894, closest to the high end of the stats for 2,000. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to purchase it, sent to my mailbox. So you see what I'm doing here. I'm just buying the rare B stats. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue on with the rest of these. And so I have the leg armor of the prophet. Restored as soul powers, not a great stat. Stamina, that's not bad. Increases my stamina. And then this one increases the flame wave attack power. I wouldn't buy this because the flame wave attack power is it's a blessing that you can use, but it's not until like I think the third or fourth tier of the blessing. So it's going to take you a while to get there. So really, the stats of this, it's not going to help you at all because you can't use that ability anyway. So it looks like the steer is my best choice here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm looking for the one that increases my stamina the most at the lowest price. So 4.8 seems like that's kind of like, oh, I have a 5.2. Can I get a 5.5? Can I get a 6? Nope. Seems like 5.2 is going to be it for 1500. So I will go ahead and make this purchase. All right. So the next thing I'm going to buy from this is going to be my helm, my hat. And so if you notice something, and I may have missed of saying it, is that the reason you want to go in this order of weapon, main body armor, legs, and then your helm and so forth is because of the amount of gear score you get per piece of equipment. So if I go back to the weapon, the wand is actually the one that give you the most gear score. So that's 120 average. It's going to give you for a B rated rare type of gear. The next thing that was going to give you the next best gear score is your main body armor. So that's about the range of 95. If you look at your leg piece from here, that will give you also about 95. Once you start getting down into like your accessories, like your glove, shoulder, belt, and your hat, it starts going down. And so if I go to the hat, it gives me 70, and then you'll see when we get to the next category, which would be like your belt, it's going to give you the same or lower at the B rate. So this gives 63. So if you run out of money before you're able to purchase all 8 pieces of equipment, at least you bought the ones that give you the most gear score. So continuing on what we're doing, so I'll go ahead and do the hat. And so here we have the profit. Again, flame wave damage. Not really concerned about that because I can't use that ability yet. Increase your gathering speed. Okay, I like that. And increases your HP stored by gathering. I like that too. And this one gives me a high critical hit rate, but it's also 35,000. So in this sense, what I may want to do is go for the strategist because you'll notice as you're playing the game that you can get a lot of HP restored just by gathering without using potions or if you run out of food. So to me, I use that a lot actually. You know, when I play the game, I strategize. When do I attack and when do I retreat to kind of like heal up a little bit and to reduce the amount of potions I'm using because I conserve those just for dungeons. Then I'll use the environment like gathering different plants to be able to restore my HP. So I like that. So, oh, look at this one. It increases by 15.5 and it's like the cheapest one. I like that. So, oh, there's another one, but it's more expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and just buy this one, purchase. Yes, thank you. And I will move on to my next category. For this would be my belt. And here, what I'm going to do is look at the different strategy stats here. So this one gives me a critical hit rate. This one gives me reputation gain and potion buff. Potion, not too concerned about that. But I'm going to go ahead and this one's out of my price range. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one. Even though it's not a combat stat, it increases reputation. It's very important because as you go around the different reputation sectors, you'll see that there are cool things you can buy from a reputation merchant. So having the right reputation with them, it's going to be beneficial towards the end of the game. So increasing that slowly as you're progressing through your levels is really important. And again, this goes back to me being a survivalist, right, in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and just look at this one. And the range was between 6 to 10. That gives me an 8. A 9 for 11. Don't want to spend 3 more. 1,000 starseeds just for 1 point. I'll probably just stick to the 8 on this one. So I'll go ahead and just select this one, buy it, and then move on to the next thing. Gloves and shoulders are actually gives you the same gear score level. So this one gives you 51, and if you go down to the shoulder, it should give you also the same 51. So it's your choice of which one you want to buy first. So since we're already here, I'll go ahead and just get this going. So I have a couple options here. The profit gives you a increase in gathering and mining speed, which is also very, very important because you will be grinding and farming a lot in this game. This one increases your defense, which is also really good, but it's also a little high priced. And then we had the strategist for reputation. Well, I already have something for reputation, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the gathering to kind of just level play the increase in mining and gathering throughout the game. So I'm going to see here. So 10 was the highest. So we have a 7.7 for 65. Oh, 6,700. I got 8.8. I like it. I probably would buy that twice as much. Well, let's see, twice as much just for 1 more percent. Less than that, I'll probably just stick to this one then. So I'm going to go ahead and just buy this one, send to my mailbox, and then move over to the gloves. And the gloves here, let's see what we have. We have the profit again, attack power, 9,000, not bad. Seer, critical hit damage. Ooh, I like that. Critical hit damage is really important. And then gathering I already have. And this one, lightning mana, no. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go for the seer. Let's see, what was it? 9 to 17%. So we're trying to get up in the high 17s. Ooh, 12, 13. All right, 13.1. We're continuing at 13.9. Let's see what else we got. We got a but this little high price there. So I think if we stick to 13, which is pretty high range already, 13.1, 13.1. So we'll stick with the 13.1 there and go ahead and buy this. All right. So now that we got our gloves, the last thing you kind of want to get here is your offhand weapon. I'm not a big fan of this just because it doesn't give you a very high gear score. So, but is part of your arsenal. So mages here use orbs. So this one gives you a 25 gear score average. And the most important thing here is be what unique effect you can get. So this one, it could increase your mana when you use concentration. This one has a 10% chance to restore additional mana. And this one gives you attack power increase. That's not bad. I like the attack power. So the mana, I can kind of do without that. But I really like this one. Even though it's a little pricier than normal. Let me look at what I can do here. So 6.4 is the highest. So I got a 5.55. That's pretty good at the highest range. So I will go ahead and buy this. My last piece of equipment. All right. So as you notice here that I went ahead and bought all my pieces of equipment. I started with a little bit over 66,000 starseeds and only spent about 50. So I still have 17,000 left. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to go over to the mailbox and go ahead and pick up all of my gear and put it on and see what that does for me. Notice that when I first started here, my gear score was 198. So I'm going to go ahead and retrieve all of my gear. There's a seer, shoulder, belt, headdress, leg, robe, main assault, and I think that's it. All right. Now that I put on my gear, what I would do is start from the top. So this one, it's my wand. Once I don it, there's the new appearance, like I was telling before. Make sure you always get that. Even if you're not going to use a piece of gear, go ahead and just put it on just to get that appearance card, and then you can sell it. Moving on to my magic orb, and then my helm, Moving down the list. Oh, did I not buy boots? We'll go back and buy boots. All right. So as you notice here, without my boots, I'm almost at 600 gear score. So I went from almost 200 to 600. What that would do to you is you can actually play this game to about level 22, 23 without ever touching your gear again. The next thing you can do in order to increase their gear score is to enhance it. As you enhance this gear, it'll increase in gear score to be able to get you to level 28, to level 30, and essentially, like I said, right before your end game gear setup that you require. At that point, when you actually get to your end game gear setup, that's all your preference. Like I said, if you want to be a survivalist, continue to do that. That's great. If you want to go ahead and just build a character, will just take the max damage to other characters, and that's on you. But that all comes in play when you start getting into the epic and legendary tier A gear, which you have to either craft or be very lucky when it comes to drops. So let me go back here, and I think I skipped this one for boots. So let's see, I still have plenty of starseeds left. So again, this one reduces the meteor mana, stamina, critical hit rate. I don't think I bought anything for critical hit rate. I think I got critical damage, so I like this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and just click on that. And what was the max? 5.21. So I'll go ahead and look for one that is at the higher end. And seems like the initial well, let me sort this really quick. Okay, so 3.9, 4. Oh, I like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this. All right. Now that I got that, let us make our run towards the mailbox to get the gear that we just bought. And this should conclude our full character gearing cycle. All right. So now, as you can see, 633. Every single piece of equipment I have can be enhanced. I'll talk about that later in another video when it comes to enhancing, how to properly enhance your equipment efficiently, also to not waste a lot of starseeds or resources. But as you can see, I really don't need to do anything else with my gear. It's pretty well rounded to attack power, defense, gathering, reputation increase, critical hit damage, critical hit rate. So you can see here are my current stats, which I'm pretty happy with. This is the first time I've geared up a wizard, so I did it all live. Didn't want to kind of stage anything, so you all know that it actually works. You can actually do this with any character. It doesn't have to be just the mage or the priest that use cloth type gear. If you go back to the marketplace and let's say you have a crusader and uses metal armor, do the same thing, right? You start with your body armor, and again you can see here that the B rare type gear is pretty low price cost, and you could do the same thing to increase your gear score very quickly. Same thing with the weapon. If you go down to a sword, again, this is called the mid-level type gear, that because it's not restricted to your level, you can go ahead and just buy it now, don it, and kind of forget about it until you get up to level 20, between the low 20s where you start enhancing it to get a better gear score to progress through the game. All right, so I hope you guys like this. Go ahead and subscribe. I'll be posting a lot more videos in the future, near future, about gathering, best crafting techniques, enhancing your gear, how to properly grind in an MMO type game. So like the video, make some comments if you want to see me make any video, any other type of subject that you're having a hard time with. All right, so Nacho again, epic grind. Catch you guys later.